Alrighty then, I promised to a few people to bring some Highlanders match, and this is where we're going. Don't normally stream live matches, but yeah, so you probably figure it out by now. So this is Highlander, and that's Naya Zoo versus 4-color Landfall. Pretty sweet decks and pretty funky matchup, I should say. There are some procs in the Landfall deck just because it actually requires a lot of investment, so it's not cheap to make. Just gonna throw that off the bat. The Naya deck, it's, well, your typical aggressive deck. It obviously does require you to have a few cool stuff, but doesn't actually require Tarmogoyf because it's not gonna grow that large in this deck. There are not that many card types, so yeah, I actually need to. And the Naya colors, all dual lands are actually one of the cheaper ones to get. But in these 4-color lands deck, you would need underground seas and tropical islands and all that stuff. So the 4-color landfall probably gonna cost you like, I don't know, maybe about 1,000 to make, and the Naya probably can be built not more than 500. But yeah, both decks are actually quite competitive, even though the Landfall deck is on the dicey side. So this is the test session during which I also had some tapes of between a couple of boxed dual decks and the like, and then I think there was some modern as well with some spicy decks as well, but the quality was just not what I wanted, and yeah, it's pretty tough to set up the lights in an appropriate way for the feature match like that. But luckily this one turned out to be actually pretty good. I don't even remember how we managed to do that. I have been thinking to invest into a better camera, but then again, I don't know. The one I currently have is okay. Most of the time the resolution is about the lights in the room, not so much about the actual equipment. Alright, I suppose I mulligan here just because there was a no-lander. I saw a Wayfarer in the starting hand. That meant that any fetch pretty much would have done it right there. Maybe it was the wrong land, like a wrong basic or something that wouldn't allow me to cast the Wayfarer in turn 1. Basically, if you want a consistent deck which might lack some power sometimes, then yeah, you can take this Naya aggressive Zoo, but if you want to actually, have something busted and occasionally lose to itself, then yeah, take this Landfall deck, which can be actually further tuned up compared to what I've been given here. Okay, that's, yeah, so in German Highlander you have a 1-3 mulligan back to 7. No poker mulligan, no whatever. I think I actually have some lands, even the fetch lands, so I can get like blue mana and then kinda get from there. I have a Glacial Chasm, which is obviously pretty bad in the starting hand. The Horizon Canopy might bite me, but then I have crop rotation, so I can maybe try to work on assembling the Thespian Stage Dark Depths combo. early on and tried to win this way. Not sure why was the pause here. Could have edited, but well, I wanted to. Once I found this tape and I found that it's actually decent quality, figured out much rather want to bring it to you as soon as possible. And this way, you know, you can definitely catch up with everything. What's going on the screen? Maybe he had to pick up something, because otherwise you would see him actually shuffling and thinking about whether to keep that hand or not. This might have been about beverages or things like that. So yeah, we see crop, we see horizon canopy. Did I actually decide to? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess with that combo deck you can have a better 6 compared to that 7. Because Glacier Chasm is basically as if I mulligan to 6 already. And yeah, in that case I might as well. Man, I suppose the blue spells in my hand were not what I wanted in the starting hand either. You know, I think there was something interesting there. And very well castable. But yeah, don't be afraid to aggressively mulligan with some decks like that, which can be super explosive at times. Because sometimes you could get, what was it? Ooh, like with Lotus Petal, Chromox, or Mox Diamond, you could get a fast Azusa on turn 1 or something, then turn. No, wait, yeah, you would have needed Mox Diamond plus something, maybe Lotus Petal or something like that, but I think I had a. I don't think this was the time when that happens. But yeah, during some of our Highlander games, yeah, I believe it was this matchup actually. There was turn 1 Azusa, into turn 2 Oracle of Moldaya, into turn 4 or 5 or something. Dark Depths kill through a Magus of the Moon in play, which kind of slowed me down, and I would have won probably like turn 4. So I mean, I would have had the combo turn 3 and then kill him on turn 4, something like that. But instead I had to go like turn 5 kill or something because of the Magus, because I didn't have like that much mana because of all the Karu lands and stuff. Okay, Catacombs, Fetching Forest into Experiment 1. Decent start, I would say pretty average. Don't remember how I scried. That's a Tundra and a pass, I believe. Is it like I have a Brainstorm in hand? Could that be the case? I don't think I do. So I'm kind of puzzled why I led with this land here. But yeah, his build is quite creature heavy, doesn't have that much reach. There ain't that much burn spells actually in there. That means, oh yeah, so, okay, this was about the blind zone, I guess. That's why I pushed him down. And those Blakes were especially annoying in the first couple of tapes we did with different formats, but here actually, luckily, we were lucky enough. So low main line, no, that's not low main line, the fleece main line. It's the one that can get a counter in hexproof if you was rusty, it's for 5, etc. It's a pretty good turn. So he gets to evolve the experiment, give haste to this boar, I forgot the exact name. Anyways, if he has a mountain, this thing has +1/+1, so it's a free, and then for red it gets haste. So yeah, that's really bad for me. killed Eldrum is Call on his end. I don't know what I can take here. I would really want something like a kitchen things here as my play on my turn 3. That would have put me back to 11 and gave me a pretty good blocker. But I don't think there is anything like that there. And the Spore Frog might be actually a good addition to this deck. Because you can get it with the call and kind of it's tutorable fog just to buy yourself one more turn. Okay, I tutored Azusa, but I don't think this is the game where it goes nuts. Just allows me, you know, to have a blocker and ramp up and maybe try to do something efficient and profitable next turn. Yeah, so if there was a kitchen fix in the deck, then I probably would have taken it. But I suppose white doesn't have a bunch of those mid-curve value creatures is because then you dilute your deck quite a bit and then you can't really combo that well. Because all the synergies take up quite a bit of space, but of course you don't have to go that deep. But I think I would still play all the core cards. I think I have the Zur in my hands actually here. That could be the case. And then you could actually have a better toolbox for the Zur. Like some ghostly prisons or things like that. I know it only takes auras, right? I think it only takes auras. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think it takes any enchantment with cost 3 or less. Okay, Orborg. Fix my mana a bit, making top decks like Glacial Chasm a bit better, including I think Dark Depths that's already in my hand. So now the question is, how do we play this out? We play the Aqueduct, the Car Land, we bounce a land, we can play it back, or we can play some other lands. Okay, so I'm rethinking the land drops here. I don't think I have just a bunch of lands in my hand and Azure. The Enchanter. Okay, so car lands that bounce something and then just playing the Dark Depths. I don't think it's actually tapped. I don't think it comes tapped. Yeah. I suppose I wanted it already in place so that I get 2020 faster, but I don't know. Well, I didn't have anything to do with that 1-1 anyway, not even, you know, fail push. And of course you can edit this landfall deck with fail push and the likes, so that you don't have this awkward board states against aggressive decks. And this is not super extraordinary for Highlander, I think. This aggressive starts, of course you wouldn't want to see them. But I guess the complication here is that this landfall deck is quite a dedicated combo deck. Doesn't have all that much of interaction. But it does use the life total pretty well as a resource. I'm forced to jump here, because that's actually a lethal attack. If you had a bolt in hand, that would be it, basically, no matter what. But, well, basically any burn. Any removal or any burn, I would have been dead. I don't think I can quite pull this up, pull myself out of this. Just a bunch of lands in the Zur. If I had like a Glacial Chasm, then that maybe would have done something. Even if I had, in theory, some Master Move here, he still had end of turn Mind Sensor, and then maybe some like Quasi-Leopard Mage, given that Mind Sensor, Exalted Trigger would have done it. Yeah. I definitely had some decent draws, and a lot of the time I talked to my friend who's actually built these two decks, that this Landfall deck might want some Fractusks and the like. just to stave off aggressive boards. It's, yeah, a lot of the time you can risk it and go really low and then just go off. So against fear decks, I think you're supposed to be a favorite because you're done so many busted things and generate so much value, or you can at least. But yeah, it's definitely an underdog against some aggros, but it still like all depends on the draws. So shuffle the deck pretty well and probably don't use these kind of sleeves. Probably try to find better ones, something super soft and super safe, because you have some fetchies and tutors and so on. In decks like Zoo, you don't really have to really be very selective with sleeves, but with these combo decks, make sure that you find something that you wouldn't really be cussing a lot during the match as well, shuffling and making mulligans. Because yeah, that's also another factor. You will be mulliganing quite a bit with this deck, but yeah, it's a necessary evil. Some sacrifices had to be made in order to play one of the possibly sweetest possible decks in German Highlander. Yeah. Haven't really done live tournament covers because it's pretty hard to set up, and then just recording games and streaming them out is not something I would want to do, because commentary I think is a big deal, and when I bump into some local Finnish streams for Legacy Championship or Highlander Championship or Modern Champs, and then it's just two people playing and there is like no commentators actually narrating the match. I know I don't feel like that's my cup of tea. Right, is that another pause or something? So yeah, the Landfall deck has things like Abrupt Decay, I'm not sure, possibly also Maelstrom Pulse. So you're not really playing without any flexible interaction. You could add more, but then you have to be very careful about that. You're not really milling yourself much, so things like Life from Bloom are not like that amazing here. I think it's in the deck. I'm not entirely sure, or at least it should be in the deck. We had a few arguments with my buddy like how to build this 4-color Landfall. And I always say Landfall just because actually you have some infinite combos with the retreats. And actually ramping and making lands is how you win most of the time. I actually had to ask him whether there is a Dried Arbor at all in this build, because then this Green Sun Zenith for 0 wouldn't actually do anything. But there is one, so that you can fetch it in response to Lilianas and stuff like that. Alright, that's pretty dangerous. So, green, red, we're in Fastland and Figure of Destiny that threatens to actually do quite a bit of damage. Ethan answered. Yeah, we haven't set up the life totals yet because the game just started, but once there would be any change for this game, we would reset it. So much of shuffling, one of the biggest drawbacks of like any singleton format basically. Yeah, and that's Bayou there too. And yeah, there are some like proxies, but they're fine for camera. And then again, if he actually wants to play this deck in the tournament, he has almost everything. It's just in Legacy and Modern decks. And so on. Hallowed Fountain Pass. I wonder what I had in my hand that I actually had to lay it down untapped and take the damage. Windswept Heath. Combat. Yeah. It's very likely that he has a 2-drop here. Candace of Voice Resurgence, to which I probably should respond. Okay, so this is why I actually laid the Hallowed Fountain on tap, because I had the Mystical Tutor in hand, which is now, I believe, banned in the format. Which is kind of sad, but what can you do? It's one of the busted cards. I think it is banned now again. Yeah, I'm actually taking a DT here. When in the dark, when I don't actually have our pieces of the combos, then taking DT is actually a safe choice. This puts me down a card, but I was in the play, and he hadn't had the most aggressive start either, and I basically ramped with this Dried Arbor. So I can take some time to set up. Okay, camera glitched here, I guess, or something. Let's see. Yeah, it did glitch, but I suppose it will fixate soon. Okay. Hold on a second, I'm just figuring out the point where it actually unzipped. Okay, here. So yeah, exactly where we interrupted. So Oracle will die on turn 3. That's pretty good. Should have actually moved the library a bit closer, but that's a land that I might as well drop down. Ain't a big deal what to bounce here with the Carter lands. Yeah, just picked up Underground Sea. Kinda want to see a Pact negation in this deck, but in our hand perhaps extra interaction might be more crucial than protecting the combos. So let's see how much damage I will take this time around. He's probably just dropping some creatures, I suppose. Oh. Oh. Yeah, Arc Trail, getting rid of Dried Arbor and Oracle Moldai, both with just one card. Such a low investment, and then also whistling for the Curlins sets me into Stone Age, basically. This is total wrecking. At least he doesn't have a huge clock, and he basically set himself back a turn with the Wasteland. But slowing me down like this is more important. I'm not sure what this is. Might be that when somebody plays a land, I draw a card or something like that. It's definitely an enchantment. The card that I hate the most out of his deck, the Sylvan Lifekeeper, the one basically gives creatures shroud when you sacrifice a land, and his Zodak has a pretty low curve. It really doesn't need to have that many lands in play. What was it? So I had to bounce a land. Is that because of the enchantment? I can't remember now. I'm sorry, folks, but I suppose when I get attacked, they have to bounce a land or something, or when you take damage, I have to bounce a land. Not sure. Okay, demonic tutor. When somebody casts a spell, they have to bounce a land, right? Suppose that's the effect. It can set up some chains as well with this deck. No good idea what to take. The fog with buyback is pretty good, of course, but then again, with so few lands in play, it's actually kind of a suicide. I could take the Zuran Orb maybe, but no, that's actually not that good. I'm at 9 life, so if I take Crossroads and I can actually cast and I have some spare lands, that might do stuff. Okay. So yeah, this is basically an enchantment for 1 green. I can take 1 damage for each extra land drop, and this is the cornerstone card of the whole deck, since it basically empowers most of the combos in the deck. So this is the one that you're probably gonna tutor most of the time. And is this actually infinite mana? Not exactly. With some spells it might be. So played it, picked up the land back. Okay, this puts me to 8. I'm not sure why I actually played that lens there. It didn't really get me anywhere. Okay, Alex, now about 2 mana, go to 7. No, I suppose I didn't have a good play there that turn. This is potentially actually 7. Put me down to 1, so I can't actually make extra land drops before I gain any extra life. Yeah, that Arc Trail and Wastelands all in 1 turn were basically killing me. What was that? Yeah, I just showed him my hand, I guess. Up he will possibly would have reset the game and make me stabilize, but no. I needed some kind of fog, technically, to get there. I think if I would have bought myself 1 extra turn, things could have been different. But yeah, high risk, high reward, basically. And yeah, Zodax or Burns is like one of the worst matchups for the Landfall. So you would rather want to play this in a metaphor of full of 4 or 5 color good stuff decks instead of aggro's. So that's 2 games. I'm down both of them. It's very draw dependent. And as you can see, Zoo had pretty decent draws, I should say. Even though I don't think I had the worst possible draws with my deck here. That means you can definitely then suggest some improvements in the comments how to actually make the deck a bit more smooth without diluting it too much and still make it so that it can fight aggro strategies. I think this as far as I see, this hand had a few lands and then a decay and a frozen grip. Oh yeah, we forgot that he actually the one starting this game. So that's a 1 green 2/1 that for 5 mana can transform and become like what 4/2, something like that. Just another playable 1-drop in his colors that actually has some kind of value late game when he's flooded. And the Sylvan Library in turn 2, pretty good. Gonna help him to find interaction with cards like Wasteland or even Mind Sensor, or let's say Galactic. I think does something against me, though not as much as against some other control or combo decks. This is untapped Breathing Pool. Perhaps I should have just straight out Abrupt Decayed the library, because it will potentially win him the game if it goes if I don't find enough of value in the next few turns. Okay, he drew an extra card off of that, so yeah, probably should have decayed the library. I suppose I was just thinking to protect my life total more. Here's a Pride Mage. Actually decide to decay the Pride Mage because over the next few turns Pride Mage translates it to more damage. Tap Sacred Foundry, passing the turn. I think my draw was just another land. Now we have Azusa on turn 3, so we can play a couple more lands this turn. There's a couple more fetchies. Arid Mesa and Bloodstained Mire. But we pretty much have our colors online. And all necessary duels proxied in all colors. So yeah, he probably can take an extra card off of library this turn again. If he really wants to. I don't think he did that. Okay, just second for 2. That's very acceptable. That's very acceptable. Crack to fetch. Well, some planeswalkers would be totally ridiculous here. That's for sure. Yeah, as far as I remember, there is no red in the Landfall deck, so it's for color no red. Okay, he can get back with the Railer, he can get back a Fetcher Pride Mage. I would assume getting Pride Mage is better. Actually, for this Landfall deck, I might even consider Pontus Last Reckoning or whatever that card name is, the 3 mana Damnation. Because you do get to make a bunch of land drops, and even though you do need your mana, but you have so much ramp and extra land drops and stuff, so that you don't care all that much. But the mana cost might matter quite a bit. Garruk, the Wealth Speaker, could be another addition here, perhaps, so that you can untap those Cairo lands. I believe the prime time is already in there. Kirkenbell fetches. Not sure if I go here to 12 or to 10. Maybe I misclicked here. There's a scrubland and something. I can take a tundra here. That's alright. Okay. Took a bayou here. Well, okay, reconsidering. Tundra is probably better. I have already Bazooka Bulk as a source of black mana. I don't need double black in here. So perhaps Tundra is actually the pick. Okay, 2 countergrounds. So yeah, that's fine. That's probably better. Though maybe having access to double white like in would have been useful. Let's guess a couple of impactful spells in 110. Let's see what's that. I imagine that's something that bounces all lanes. But how come it costs only that much? Only 2 mana? That's actually interesting. I'm not even sure I should have casted that turn. Perhaps I should have waited till my own turn. So now I'm at 10. I'm not currently forced to chum block, but very close to. Yeah. Maybe I just didn't have much going on beside that land bound spell. Five, 7. Maybe I had a Shockland in hand, so I didn't want to fall down to 2. He continues to slam dunk some zoo type of creatures. Yeah, show him the hand again. Yeah, mystical tutor for something. So yeah, that was probably a mistake to to do that land bounce. But then again, I suppose I drew that mystical tutor super late. So yeah, again kind of flooded, so that makes me think that if there isn't a brainstorm and Highlander contrips like that, they should be added. Maybe even things like Impulse or Peer for Dabs or things of that nature. Supreme Will might be a spicy one because of how flexible it is, even though it's 3 mana, but I think it will be fine here. Because it's interaction / digging, which probably is always good. Probably should be in there. A lot of things could be in this deck. But yeah, haven't been super lucky with the draws. Even though that's the worst matchup imaginable, probably. And again, very consistent 1 and 2 drops all the time throughout all of the games and like every turn. That's pretty good. Okay, is this the last game here? I suppose so. Hopefully can bring in more Highlander in the future. It's a fun format, especially with some well-rounded decks. Well, that were some flying cards, but they were from the top. It's no big deal. And it's important to point out that you gotta be pretty careful when cutting your opponent's second Highlander because how big they are, and then it might be fixed sleeves and double sleeves and so on. So be careful, and the sleeves themselves could be pretty slippery too. So it's the Tiger and the Curd Ape. I had nothing on turn 1. Curlands probably again kind of getting flooded. I ever gets like screwed or flooded. So that means that there definitely should be few more ways to sculpture hand and sculpture top decks. Again, like pretty fair turn 2 play with Scavengers. That's not like super relevant as a creature this game though. Okay, another turn 3 Azusa into a couple more lands, Scars and Canopy, and a land that actually can gives colorless, or usually it can be used for colored mana ones because then you'd have to sacrifice it. Okay, I suppose I just fixed the watering for the land drop so that I would at least be able to maybe represent or have some potential answers here. Okay, he's bashing, gotta take it, fall down 14. Here's a Zenith for 0. Which I gotta counter because he'll be ramping here to get Dried Arbors and stuff. So that was kinda good. Okay, I have now DT that can get me something sweet. My combo as well. Okay, I can see actually Impulse in my hands, so it is in the deck actually. It's actually in the deck. Right. Actually, a DT for a Highlander or something like that wouldn't be the worst idea ever, I suppose. And yeah, the Phantasm, the 0/5 that transmutes and gets you Azusa might be also a thing. Okay, yeah, alright. With this life total and this much pressure on board, going for the key card in the deck makes a lot of sense, I suppose. So there's still 1 mana in the pool. But how do we get from there? Well, we can impulse and try to get something. Like extra lands perhaps. Or some big spell. Don't quite see it. So there's a Maze of If at the list, which is not the worst. Unfortunate Dried Arbor, Basic Forest, and what? And some blue spell, I think. It doesn't matter. Maybe some counter. Okay, here's a Maze of If, I suppose. Take extra damage for this extra land drop because I imagine I've played the land already this turn. The Scrubland probably was the land for the turn. Yeah, now he's just in 2 mana. He's still bashing, but that's fine. I have Maze. Here's a Tinster Hooligan that doesn't actually break anything, luckily. You can actually try to get some extra stuff with the canopy. Let's try to dig for something. Could this be the game where I actually do my thing? This is not exactly my Highlander deck. I just love to play with it, probably as much as his owner. And then my deck by default right now is just some kind of Absent Company style deck. Just a bunch of Vizier style combos and Archangel packages and so forth. And yeah, ideally like it should have the Hulk Karmic Guides chain as well, but that's just like one option for a win con. You could have different ones. You could play Pattern of Rebirth plus the Academy Rector, but you could do something else. It's just that Rector is a good value card on its own because you can get some removal and stuff or some card draw. Okay, here's a Black Cur Helm that drains for landfall. More lands. More triggers. I don't actually gain life because I have to pay like mana to... Oh no, actually right now I don't because of Azusa. So I'm supposed to gain life, I think. Yeah, and drain him. Now it's a question of like how to get this train going. Doesn't look like I can. I have the maze to actually stop one of these dudes, so I'm taking only 4. Falling down to 9. Next turn I can use the canopy to dig for more action and try to... So basically what was it? I just need to draw another card land or wait to bounce the first card land, something like that. Because I have one in play. If I get to actually bounce it somehow, then we have the combo. Because, okay, I don't... so I'm supposed to gain land with the Cur Helm, but then I have to pay the mana for the enchantments to make all those land drops. But then I just get to drain him out. Okay, here's just an Izumarian passing. So yeah, a bit of slow draw for him, no removal for Azusa. And lately he even cut for some stupid reason. I have no idea why he cut even a Lightning Helix from that deck. She would have either killed Azusa here or allowed him to have some burst to finish me off. Okay, I can dig with canopy. Okay, Grinson Zenith. Yeah, just get a Primeval Titan and win basically. Because you just fetch some Caro lands and that's it. You just bouncy and yeah. That's how you win. So I do just want to... Well, it's just one way to do that. Then... what is that? With blue retreat... you get to have infinite mana. Because you basically untap your lands. As far as I know. And then with green retreat, you just gain infinite life or make... Let's say even like a fetchable like Dried Arbor infinite, and you can just close it the game that way. Yeah, so prime time that fetches some card land, and that's the win. That's the game. I just explained to you how it works, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe, check out the links in the description below. because I do write some articles as well, and this is not the only game or the format I enjoy and play and record and just talk about. So watch out the playlists on this YouTube channel. And yeah, leave any feedback or comments or wishes in the comments below. I do read them and respond relatively quickly. So yeah, now you got to witness at least one cool game with the deck, and then maybe if you wanted to build something similar yourself, now you know what kind of board states you might face, so you would know what kind of things you would need in your deck so that you actually survive the early turns against zoo decks. Alright, thanks for watching. Until the next sale, goodbye folks.